ಇದು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗಲ್ಲ
ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ.
Can you please all sit this side? ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ?
Am I audible?
Good morning, dear students and parents. Welcome to KLE Law College. I'm Ms. Deepa, Assistant Professor of Management and Coordinator of Admissions. We have on dais with us Mr. Rohit Kamath sir, Advocate High Court of Karnataka, partner at Rex Law Chambers. Also, we have Dr. Manoj Kumar V. Hiremat, a first year coordinator and IQAC coordinator, Assistant Professor of Law. I congratulate you all for choosing law as your profession. Today's event is for letting you know about the various career opportunities in corporate, what you could do after graduation. To give you a brief introduction of Mr. Rohit Kamath sir, he's an advocate at the High Court of Karnataka, Company Secretary, Partner, Corporate and Commercial Practice at Rex Law Chambers. Sir is also a consultant at CIRA NLSIU for various projects including Ministry of Environment, Government of India, etc. To say it aloud, sir is a proud alumni of our college, graduated in 2015 and did his master's in corporate law. Welcome you, sir, to the session. I request you to kindly take over.
Sir, I'll have a walk-in talk. ಹಲೋ, ಯಾಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಗ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಲಾ ಈಗ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಈಗಲೇ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೇನು? ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ನೋ ಕನ್ನಡ?
Yes, sir.
Okay, most of you are from Karnataka. Anyone from outside Karnataka? One? Where are you from? Okay, so you follow Kannada as well. Okay, thanks. Huh? Okay. Couple of things. Why did you choose law? Anyone? Yes, sir. First floor. Why did you choose law? Okay. Okay. So you feel that learning the law gives you power?
Why is this?
Puneet? Kumar is this? Okay. Yes. Sit down. Anybody else?
Job security.
Job security. So you think lawyers have job security? Please ask your parents. Probably they'll say, advise you no. Okay. That's the age-old mindset that has always been there. Okay. One thing is, if you're going to say that job security is the reason why you're choosing any career for that matter, please note every profession or every graduation that you choose has job insecurity. There is no security of jobs at all in any place. Okay, munche people who read used to be able to garner and move up the ladder, correct? Today everybody can read, especially in law, because technology has upgraded. Earlier you need to have a book, an array of books, okay, an entire library of books if you want to be a successful lawyer. Today your smartphones are more than enough for you to become a good lawyer. Okay, you don't have to do too much. You just have to search what you want to use with the keywords. You'll be able to know the entire process, what is the next step that you have to take, correct? So if you're going to say job security, probably no, I would not say that, right? Because you are what you create yourself. Okay, lawyers, number of lawyers that are there, it's about 2/3 of the number of engineers that are getting created on a day-to-day basis. In Bangalore, in just one of the colleges, there are about 650 law graduates who come from every year, in from just one college. So if you're going to say job security is what you're looking for, probably, I think you're starting wrong. He said power. Probably I'll just tweak it a little. There is a statement which a learned philosopher has made: knowledge is power. Okay. So if you're going to do law, what you're going to gain is knowledge. Right? So what do you think makes a successful lawyer? Before you do law, I think these are questions that are relevant. What do you think makes you a successful lawyer?
Update with new law changes, anything.
Okay. Okay. Then
Having updated knowledge.
keeping yourself updated, experience. Okay. So as a fresher, what do you do? Can a fresher have that aptitude to become a successful lawyer?
Yes,
How?
depend upon hard work and intelligence.
Okay.
Most of them, what they choose and what their review process will be, will be success.
Excellent. So what are you going to learn in the next 5 years of law or 3 years of law? Is what is going to make you a successful lawyer. Please note, even today as I speak, I do not know everything. I do not know everything. It's impossible for me to know everything. But if you pose a question to me, do you think I can find the answer to it? Yes. So the difference between a successful and an unsuccessful lawyer is not knowledge, not information, but knowing where to get that information. A successful lawyer knows where to find the law. Okay? That is what is the difference, and that is what differentiates a lawyer and a non-lawyer. How many of you have driven two-wheelers? Which side of the road should you drive?
Left.
Okay. If you ask somebody in your street, will they also know that left side alle ಓಡಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು? Because try driving on the right side, no? Even the vegetable vendor will shout at you, hey, ಏನೋ ಮನೇಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ಯಾ? Correct ಅಲ್ವಾ? How does he know the law? How does he know the law? Everybody knows the law. There is no exemption to it. Everybody knows the law. Okay? But what differentiates a lawyer from a non-lawyer then?
Procedures.
Yes. A lawyer knows the law, also knows where to find the law, and sometimes in some cases he also knows the judge. Okay. So these are quite aspects which will take you about in your legal profession. ಈಗ law professionally ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, ಕಷ್ಟ, ಆ ತರ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. I am a first generation lawyer. Okay, none of my family members were lawyers. I had guidance from a colleague, a friend, a mentor. Okay, so these are the ways as to which how I have learned a lot. My teachers have been a guiding force to me. Okay, my close family friend and relative has also been a guiding factor. So these are the aspects from where I drew inspiration to myself to do law. If you'd ask me in the first year, like how all of you are there sitting, I also wanted to become a corporate lawyer. I was like, I'm not getting into litigation. Litigation ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಓಡಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಲಾ ಸೇರಿದ್ದು. ಲಾ ಜೊತೆ ನಾನು CS ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ. ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಇಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟು afternoon to evening is CS, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದೆ ಅದರಿಂದನೇ CS ಬರ್ತಿರೋದು. So that way I had completely made up my mind that I am not going into litigation, I'm just going into corporate. Okay, this is how I had made up my mind. Of course, to be from getting into corporate field means that you have to have a higher qualification. 640 people from one batch. So what should you do? You should equip yourself with another degree, right? So this is how I planned myself, because I was asked to do this way, saying that see, everybody is going to have the same degree at the end of it. What are you going to do additionally? I think that's where you have to equip yourself. Today, because of information technology, you have all additional courses that you can take up. I think the college itself is organizing some 2 to 3 diploma courses for you. You can take it up. There are webinars that are organized, seminars that are taken across. Please take active participation in it. That is how you can improve your knowledge, and that is how you can get power. Right? Because knowledge is power, bro. Coming to it, how many of you want to become corporate lawyers? One? Yes.
No, not corporate lawyer. Good morning and thank you for this. And could you please enlighten us on the judgeship as well?
Sure, I'll come back to it later at the end of the session. There is a particular array that is made, step by step. So
Yeah.
practice ಆಗಿ 10 ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಜಡ್ಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ somebody wants
Definitely,
somebody wants
definitely.
job, but our intention is to get into the judgeship there.
Okay, definitely. I can guide you also on that. Now, couple of things that I think he has already spoken about the different career prospects that is there. So we spoke about litigation in a brief thing. Now we are speaking about corporate. How many of you want to become a corporate lawyer? None of you. All of you want to get into litigation.
Yes, sir. We
Corporate.
have choices, like we are open to choice.
Okay, you're open to choices. Excellent. Please don't decide right now. Okay? You must have seen on TV. Are you a civil lawyer or a criminal lawyer? What lawyer do you think I am? Sorry? Both? Am I a corporate lawyer? Or a civil lawyer? Or a criminal lawyer? Or a family advocate? What am I? Please note, I handle all matters. Okay? Initially, I thought I'll only do corporate. And then later on, when I started practicing, I realized if you're going to be only corporate, you need at least 30 or 40 years of experience to become one corporate lawyer. Then oh yes, Abhishek Manu Singhvi is a corporate lawyer. Right? You get that tagline that comes only after 30 years of time, minimum. So don't predetermine yourself right now. Keep yourself open to opportunities. Because one of the things that they say is, yes.
Nothing.
Because one of the things that they say is, unlike any other profession, okay, in order to be successful in law, all you need to do is know something about everything and everything about something. This is what was told to me, and I believe it to it till date. Something about everything. How can you know something about everything? General knowledge, okay. Then,
Practice.
sorry?
Practice.
Yes, practice. Then,
Skills.
skills from where? Experience.
Networking.
Networking. Please note, networking is how you can know something about everything. Just 10 minutes. Try having a discussion with someone, whoever you meet. Ask them about their field. What is their work? Like how grandparents with newspapers, they come. Whenever somebody comes, they immediately get into a conversation. How is it that possible? That they are interested in everyone and everyone is interested in them. It's because they say little about themselves and ask more about the other. You're getting my case, right? That is how a lawyer should have the art of networking. And that is the only way how you can know something about everything. You ask about rocketry, probably a little bit basics you must be aware of, right? If you're going to ask about company formation or anything, something little bit you must be knowing what the company does, how the businesses go about. If you want to be into your corporate side, you should know how a company gets funds. How does the bank operate? What are the documents that's required for you to open a bank account? These are things that probably textbooks will not teach you, but your interaction with the teachers, your interactions with the seniors, with mentors, that is what will help you. Your career, which you have chosen here, whether it is BCom, BBA, or BA LLB, whatever you've chosen based on your interests, is only going to take you, say, 65% to one range. Okay, and I will put it 65 because if you're going to be, attentive, intuitive during your 5 years of law, probably after that you don't have to struggle. Okay, that's one of the things that I'll tell you. Probably you'll have a lot of time in hand today. Please put it to good use. How many? Since all of you are from Bangalore, I don't think anyone's moved in here just to have the Bangalore lifestyle. You already know what the Bangalore lifestyle is, and please note it is injurious to your legal lifestyle, right? So try and spend most of your time developing your skills. Okay, so skill development is necessary. How does it happen? I'm not saying you don't have to have a social life. Have a social life. I've had everything. So I've even got almost suspended as well. I think Manoj sir had literally caught me out running. Yeah. So, but that is what the particular aspect is. How does it change? Your shaping can happen in the college, right? That's one of the aspects. Now, if you're going to ask me what are the various career prospects that are there, probably find a word over here, and each one of these words will definitely lead you to a new career path. Every single word would give you a different career path. I have friends who are advisors to political parties. You're getting my point? Figurative way of speech. Tejasvi Surya used to come and teach in our college. Today he is an MP, right? So there is some aspect of law that comes across into assistance for anybody in any career whatsoever. Okay? So you might, it's very difficult to take the law out of any particular business field because law surrounds everywhere. Okay? So they say society is like a cart wheel. You've seen a bullock cart? Okay, back in those days when philosophers wrote, they were only bullock carts. Okay? Today you even have EV vehicles. Okay, law is nothing like the wheels of any vehicle. You may change the model, you may change the technology that it is to be used for, but the wheel always remains. Right? Law is like that wheel. For the vehicle or the society to move forward, there has to be law. Without law, there is no particular chance of any aspect of moving forward. So you cannot say law is not necessary. I'll do things on my own. Probably it will be just like reinventing the wheel. You'll find out everything and then you'll realize that only a circular wheel can move forward and nothing else. Right? So this is the second aspect that comes across. And for those judicial aspirants, I think one person has already come across. I am really glad, sir. I think before joining law, you came up with that query. When I joined law, I was like very curious. I had no idea what I'm going to be. Okay, so I just did things because they said yes. If you want to get into corporate, you have to do CS. Okay, I went like a horse. So I had putty on those two sides. I was just going in one direction, saying that somebody told do this, I did this. Somebody said do this, I did that. In my third year is when I had a real eye opener. Okay, I had an interaction with a senior. I think his name is Shashi. I'm not sure. He's there in Bangalore. He's practicing in Bangalore. I've not met him for quite a long time. I think about a decade now. So I had an interaction with him. So I had almost cleared my CS. There was only one paper left for me to clear. And he comes and asks me, why are you doing CS? I had no answer. I became very defensive. I'm like, I want to become a corporate lawyer. That's why I'm doing CS. That's why I'm doing law. I had no answer to it, to be very honest. But then I tried to search for the answer. Okay, why am I doing it? What drives me over there? Is it the money that is promised to corporate lawyers? Probably yes. Is it that job security which my friend spoke of? Probably yes. But do I really want to become a CS? Was the question. Do I really want to become a corporate lawyer? That was the question. Probably not. Back then I decided, okay, I don't think I want to get into a job related scenario. I'll become a teacher. And I started focusing on myself on how to become a teacher. Okay? So I started taking sessions pro bono here and there, taking on legal aid, going to various colleges, trying to advertise them about what is law, what is legal aid, and all this. And that's how I somehow got into the habit of taking lectures. Okay? participating in moot courts did give me that particular thing. I'll tell you what moot courts are about. So this is the third category. You have an option to become an academician also. But did I become an academician in the end? No, I did not. Right? So that's, I'll tell you the reasons why also. When I was studying law, it was, I think, the fifth pay commission that was there. You know, any idea what's the fifth pay commission? Any idea what's a pay commission? Yes,
the
sir.
one which decides, the salary and the other things for the
Excellent.
government.
Yeah, salaries that are payable and everything. How are universities governed? UGC is there, no? So this is a UGC accredited college. So UGC prescribes that if you want to employ any lecturer, you have to pay a certain amount of salary. Right? When I was studying, it was about the fourth or the fifth pay scale that was there. So teachers were being paid anywhere between 15 to 20,000 a month on an average basis. Based on your seniority, you earn 45,000 or 50,000 at the most. But when I graduated from law, it was the seventh pay commission was introduced. We did not have one of the pay commission. We just directly had to leapfrog to the highest pay commission that was allowed for. And salaries from about 25 to 30,000 became 75,000 for an assistant professor. And I saw everybody becoming a teacher. You know, in an auditorium of about 450 people, I remember besides me, there was only Palishri Kirtana who lifted her hand when they asked who among you wants to become a teacher. She completed her PhD from NLSIU, okay, and she is now, I think, teaching elsewhere. So this is the only particular aspect. But if you'd ask me now, how many of my classmates are teachers? I would say I know at least 40. 40 of my classmates and batchmates have become teachers. Why did that happen? Like he mentioned, job security. So I saw that switch. So I felt, okay, too many people entering into academia. I qualified myself to teaching though. I did not stop my dream just because too many people were entering. I finished my LLM. I also qualified the NET just to keep it as a backup. What if I fail as a lawyer? Right? So you always need to have backup plans if you're doing law. So I went on to do my LLM and other things. So to qualify myself as a teacher, today you need to have something called National Eligibility Test, NET, or State Level Eligibility Test. Okay? So these are the things that you need to do to become an academician. Teaching ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ clear ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Minimum basic criteria it is. Okay? So that is also one other aspect that you can go about. And then next to it, what is the next particular option that you may think of? I did not become a teacher, right? So I had to look at some other alternative. So I was doing my CS, same time as I finished my LLM, I also completed my company secretary's course. I decided, okay, law ne beda. I'll become a company secretary. This was my final decision. I went announced to my entire family, I'm going to become a company secretary. Law madi mugsidini, I'll use that as a additional qualification. I'm going to enroll myself as a CS. Did I enroll myself as a CS? Probably not. I did because I took the membership, but somehow I chose to practice law because I realized over time that if I advise someone as a company secretary, that advice will be taken, used as a tissue paper and put it into the dustbin. The same advice when I give it as a lawyer, it will be framed and kept. Okay, and this happened with my own a new client that I got. And a senior of mine from my old office was the company secretary for that entity. It's a leading medical business. So he had advised them to do a particular action. And they said, no, we'll not do it. We'll go ahead like this one. But somehow they actually engaged me also. And I advised the same thing. No difference in words. Same thing I advised them. Immediately they implemented. I get a call from that company secretary. Rose, what the hell did you tell him? How did he accept? How did you convince him? You know, he's senior to me. Huh? He's about 5.5 years senior to me. And he has about 12 to 15 years of experience in handling these matters. And him asking me that day, I decided, oh, the decision to take up practice was a good one. It was about 3 years ago that I was just one novice into law. You know, about 3.5 years of practice I had. So that time I decided, yes, it's a good decision that I chose to practice law. Becoming an advocate was a wise decision. Okay? So a lot of times, you might want to have a good earning immediately. You will see your friends, who are taking engineering and everything, have an amazing salary right from the start. But please note, this stagnation begins when your earnings start. Okay. So that way, let me tell you that if you're going to look at job security or anything, probably it's not the right phase that you have to look in. This is the next particular aspect. Coming to it next, what is the next alternative career that you can have? Judiciary is one of the particular aspects. But let me tell you, friends, if you want to take up judiciary, very well, good. I think it's one of the most noble careers that you can choose for, right? But however, try to practice law at least for about a period of 4 years before you even write the exam. Of course, eligibility is that to write a particular junior level exam, it's just your qualification as a lawyer. BA, LLB, 5 years or 3 years course is what is the minimum required criteria. But imagine, taking a 12th standard student and putting him in a college and asking him to teach law. Okay, or taking a fresher and appointing him as the principal of the entire college. What do you think is going to go about? You know the answer to it, right? What is going to happen and what things can go wrong. That's the kind of things that can go wrong when you take up judicial practice as a fresher. I have had instances of a lot of people getting into judiciary and quitting. Bharat Chugh, you can actually, Google it. He's one of the well-noted, illuminaries who have also taken across, judicial practice and then quit it just to, get back into litigation. Reasons why he quit? Probably he may not tell you, but they are quite anticipated. You took up judiciary when you were not even ready to. You took up judiciary without even knowing the basics. You learned on the job. Probably you do not know a lot of things that most lawyers know. All of a sudden, let's say a fresh graduate becomes a judge. I go pass him a memo for clarification. I'm just giving you these legal terms so that I'm sure if you graduate from 5 years now, you might know the same thing what you know today. Because 65% is what you learn from books. Rest comes from practice. Right? So probably that kind of alarmed them. Probably it kind of put them a little backward, wherein they were not able to clear cases. It put them under a lot of pressure. And these are things that can go wrong if you're going to choose judiciary. It's just my opinion. There are people who have cleared judiciary at the same time and are also amazing judges. But just to have a better perspective, have at least 3 years of practice, because when you're sitting on the bench, asking someone for clarification might be a little bit of an embarrassment. You can be taken for a ride. Okay? So that is one of the reasons I would say that have at least 3 years of courtroom practice before you get into judiciary also. Start preparing right now. Keep writing it every time. Okay? But preferably start practicing also. Right? You never know when it works out and you are able to get in. Even about 6 months of practice in the courts could be of great help to you if you are planning to get into judiciary. Right? So that's the alternative career that you can have. Any other career probably you have chosen or you think you want to do? How about UPSC, Public Service Commission exams? Do you think you can write that?
Yeah.
How many of you are aspirants? Excellent. Please do write it. There is no harm in not writing it. Okay, you have sufficient number of attempts to be given out. Take it up from your final year. Okay, prepare yourself to be able to write it. But please note the kind of lifestyle that you'll have as a administrative officer or as a lawyer is much different. Okay, so as an IAS officer, if you're going into any senior's place, you might have to stand. Okay, but when an IAS officer comes and asks me an opinion, I'll be sitting. He'll ask permission for me to sit before me. Right? I'm not boasting this, but I'm just giving you as a perspective. Okay, how different the lifestyle is if you're going to choose law as a career path. Right? There are amazing, IAS officers who are law graduates. The way they administer is completely different from a non-lawyer who is administering any government department or any particular municipality. I have seen that amazing change only because they know law. Probably taking law as a subject is easier for you also to clear your UPSC examinations. But please note, you might have to prepare like hell. Because there are only 10 books that you need to study. So you need to know word by word in that book. Okay, that's the only thing that you need to do. I'm pretty sure over a period of 5 years, you'll be able to reach that stage and then take it up. Here. And with this, I'll just move on to this person. Any idea who this is? Come on, you're interested in law. You should at least know this person. Had I put some Instagrammer influencers photo, you would have immediately said, "Hey, I know this guy."
Is it Mr. Chandrachud?
No. Okay, before this, let me tell you a story of a boy. Okay. After that, you can guess who it is. Sorry? No, sir. I'll come back to you. I'll tell you a story. Anyone has stuttering issues? Stammering issues? Okay. So this is a story of a boy who had a stammering issue. Okay. Do you think a person who has stammering issues can become a good lawyer? No. ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. They cannot make any appearances in the court. Judges give you only 2 minutes. Within that time, you have to speak. So if you have stammering issues, you cannot become a lawyer, right? This is the man who broke that prejudice. He overcame his stuttering issue and became an amazingly successful lawyer.
Nani Palke.
Yes. Please note, write down his name, etch himself as a person who you can look up for. A minute ago, when I spoke to you, can a person with a stuttering or a stammering issue become a good lawyer? You said no. He is a man who broke that particular prejudice. Right? Sometimes laws allow you to outcome certain social prejudices. Right? And he is also one of the only lawyers who gave across the budgetary speeches without even holding a piece of paper in hand. Budget ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ budgetary speech ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ he is a man who would go over to the stadium in Mumbai and give across an open budgetary speech. Wankhede Stadium, the entire stadium used to be flooded with people. You might say stuttering is actually psychological. The moment you see a large crowd, you cannot speak. Here is a man with a stammering issue who overcame it and gave a speech in front of the entire Wankhede filled, crowded stadium without even a parchment or a piece of paper. You getting it? No wonder he's called a courtroom genius by the former Solicitor General, Soli Sarab. Please read this book, A Courtroom Genius. I think if you are wanting to look yourself as a good lawyer down the line, this is one of the major books that you need to read. Your whole perspective changes. Okay, from wanting to do corporate practice, I today am a practicing lawyer. The kind of satisfaction that gives to me when I get bail to a 84-year-old couple is immense. No amount of money or anything can satisfy it. He spoke about power, right? Power is not just going and hitting somebody else. Power is when you're able to get somebody justice. I think that is something that no field can give you. Now, I'm not going to say law is the best field, but I'm just giving you the pros, right? So this is a particular field where satisfaction is immediate. You don't have to wait till it happens. The moment the judge gives you a favorable relief, you get that particular satisfaction. The moment you see that your client deserves it. And see, somewhere down the line, not all clients can win. No? So your duty as a lawyer is it to make your client win? What do you think? What do you think? Truth shall prevail. So in case your client is the one who killed someone, will you go and say that my client is the one who killed? So then what is your role as a lawyer?
To obtain him a chance, the last bit of law.
So you can suggest before the court Maybe my client killed, but there were certain reasons for it. There was no sugar in his cup of tea. How can a man be sane? Right? So these are things. I'm just on the lighter side, just so that you understand what it is. There are other legal reasons which you can bring about, but of course, these are aspects wherein instead of getting him a life sentence, you can probably get him a lesser sentence. So this is what is the art of a lawyer. Okay. So in one of the instances, one of the advocates, he had got an elephant as a witness. Do you think you can bring an elephant as a witness? What do you think?
If you can convince the judge, yes.
Do you know who was this advocate who brought an elephant as a witness? Ramjet Malani. So he comes across and says, where does it say that it has to be a person? Then only a person can give evidence. Now this is where you might have to have that little bit of out of box thinking also. Please don't ridicule yourself in case you find certain questions stupid, lame. I'm being quite direct and frank because that is where your questioning or aspect stops if you want to do law. The moment you think that, oh, how can he ask such a senseless question? Okay? That is where your learning stops. The moment you speak about being senseless, then the whole purpose of law fails. Right? Clear? So that is one of the things which I wanted to bring about. And I'll just tell you how, sometimes senseless questions can actually make out, amazing responses. A guy wrote a book, okay, so it's like just a normal thing. But while publishing the book, he made a typographical error in the title. And that typographical error made him a millionaire. Okay? He wanted to write the book on how to win with life. Okay? The typographical error that he did was instead of L, he put W. Okay? Made him a millionaire. Get it? Sometimes mistakes can be extremely positive as well. Now, one of the reasons of the mistakes that Nani Palkiwala did, I'll tell you. Back in those days, when he was practicing, he said, you know what, there's a constitution. All of you know constitution is there. Yes? Huh? Fundamental rights are enshrined in the constitution. Constitution has different parts, preamble, fundamental rights, fundamental duties. Back in those days, he said that the power to amend, change the constitution is limited. You cannot amend the constitution entirely. He was ridiculed for that statement he made. They say, hey, what are you saying? That's very senseless. You cannot even impede this. This is not at all acceptable. The constitution can always be changed. You can remove the entire aspect of fundamental rights. There is no particular limitation at all. But today, please, my friends, if you note, what he spoke senselessly back in those days is what we follow as law today under something called the basic structure doctrine. Look at it. A person's conviction had the power to change the view of the entire legal scenario to what it is today that we see. Right? So that is what I would tell you, and I'll urge you that do not have a narrow mind when you're taking up law. I'm sure that if you have come to study law with a narrow mind, over a period of 3 years, keep it open for opportunities. Don't decide that, yes, this is what I'll do, this is what I will do. Keep yourself open to all opportunities and work yourself. You never know which side of the door would open up. Okay? So that is one of the things that probably I'll put across to you. And these are the various skills that I would say put across to you. Now, one of the particular aspects here, planning is very much essential. Please plan to complete your law in the next 5 years or 3 years. I know that you have the facility of having back papers. Are ye attempt nahi to kya next attempt I'll clear. Please don't get into that habit. It is not good. Okay, because tomorrow when you're getting employed somewhere, they'll definitely ask you for your entire transcript. At that point in time, it is a little bit of an embarrassment to show that, okay, I was not serious. Of course, in case by mistake you fail or there was some emergency you fail, Otherwise, you have a neat record, no problem. And I'm not saying that just because you get poor marks, you cannot be successful in life. But what I'm trying to tell you is, you have the exam at 10:30. Do not come to college at 10 o'clock and say, I'm not writing my exam. Okay, that is the kind of attitude that I'm speaking about. There is some emergency in your family, please attend your family. Okay, exams we can give it in the next attempt. You will have a justifiable reason. Family comes first, right? But don't come to the exam center. I'm saying this because I have had friends who did that. I forced him to write the exam. He cursed me, but he passed on that exam. Okay, and today he is an advisor to a government of India body. Okay, and the exam that he wrote that time was a political science paper. He went on to complete his master's from Jindal, and today is an advisor with the government of India's Defense Research Organization. So that's kind of a very niche thing. Probably if he had not written it that time, I don't know if he would have even cleared his law. You never know, right? Because when, at what time, what kind of questions come. He did not like it. He loathed the subject. So he had come to the exam anyway. I was like, go write it enough, right? So that's the kind of thing that I'm speaking about. Don't put yourself to a lethargic attitude, because time is extremely precious. Because by the time you finish law, I think you would probably be considered a little too old, right? Next to doctors, okay? Only doctors would be much more, elder than you. But please be patient. That's what is more important for you, right? So planning is important. Time management is very much essential. If you're going to do additional courses, like I told you, probably you will have to do a lot of time management. Okay. Legal research, legal analogy, these are two different skill sets. Legal research is finding the right law. Legal analogy is understanding what you found. Okay. These are the two things which you definitely need to do if you want to become successful in your legal career. Okay, you need to know the difference, and you need to have a skill set of both of these things to move to the next level, to up your game. Moot courts, ADRs, and other competition. I think college organizes a lot of competitions and also has intra collegiate festivals on these particular points. Please participate in all of them. Okay, I was an avid participant right from my first year, and all my seniors would say, "Arey, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?" And please note, I think moot court is what helped me become a lawyer. Whatever I'm arguing in the court today is only because I worked myself completely during moot courts. I used to refer to so many books. The college had given us, back in those days, we had this NLS library card. Okay, so we used to take it, we used to go to NLS, and today the college itself has brought in all those facilities right here in your library. Back in those days, Westlaw, Hain Online, these are all legal databases, okay? And these were available only in NLS. And we had to go, and our college used to be in Rajajinagar. From there, we had to go to Nagarbai right here, okay? And we had to go, and that was difficult to convince others to come along, because it's a team exercise, no? Not just one person is sufficient. All three of them should go. Convincing all of them to come till there, wait till there at 6:30, return back, and it's not like how it is today. Today, the entire Nagarbai main road has a lot of these shopping complexes and others. Back in those days, it was a deserted area. Okay, so these are the kinds of things that you probably need to do if you are going to do law, and that's how you can improve your skill set. And internships, please keep also in yourself engaged in some kind of sport or cultural events. That's also extremely essential, because studying makes you a little bit dull. You need to regenerate yourself, so participate in it. I think that's also necessary. And lastly, I would just want you to differentiate between networking and socializing. Till you graduate, whatever you do is only socializing. Okay? Only after you graduate, you can actually do a lot of networking. I have no idea about any of the practicing advocates or anyone till I graduated my law. People who used to come to college or who I've had a one-to-one interaction with, I knew their names. But all of a sudden, somebody comes and says some judge's name, I would be like, who is it? Okay, that was the level of networking or anything that I had done back in those days. But probably today, if you ask me, do I have any particular person who I know? Yes, because right now it is more relevant for me. Back in those days, had I wasted my time in networking, probably I might not have cleared my CS. I might not have cleared my law. There were a lot of people. I was doing additional courses, right? So I had to have my full focus and attention onto your academic orientation also. Today, even if I'm having a particular discussion with anyone, my academic orientation allows me to have a higher order discussion. You're getting the particular perspective I'm giving to you. Please differentiate between the two. Networking is not socializing. Okay, they are two different things. To have a good network, you must first become a web. Okay, so first work yourself on towards becoming that web. I think joining this course is one of the ways to move forward, and I wish you all the best. Yeah. Any questions? Probably two or three.
Can I start internship from first year?
Yes, definitely. So you can intern. Preferably, I would suggest that you intern in an NGO or a particular social perspective organization in the initial first years, because probably you might not know law, and I don't want you to feel a little bit insecure by just jumping into the ocean. So it's take baby steps. Okay. So before you learn swimming, you get into the baby pool first, and then into the swimming pool, and then into the beach, right? Nobody directly jumps into the beach and starts swimming, no? Even if they have a lifeguard or anyone, you don't, right? Don't do it. So take baby steps at a time, and then try to advance yourself into your internship. So starting first year, NGO or any particular organization which is doing a little bit of lesser, initiated work or documentation work is preferred, because that allows you to assimilate yourself into the streamlining. Okay, NGOs have a lot of action-oriented aspect, which gives you practical insight for tomorrow's job that you choose. Yeah. Then anything else?
To learn legal analogy,
Hmm.
apart from this, this technology, what's more is going to be helpful.
Okay. One of the things I'll put across to you, whether you like to admit it or not, probably you might have to improve your English language. So all of us may not have come from a convent education. I was lucky to have it. But I have seen persons who have come from Kannada medium, and today they are much better in legal analogy. Okay, so and I'm speaking about Kannada medium, right? Till 12th, they've studied in Kannada medium, and they've picked up English language, grammar only after taking up law. And it's not something not doable. Probably 6 months of effort and training is what it requires for you to upskill yourself in language. Language is for communication, it's not for show off, right? So that's quite a thing. If you don't know a language, it's okay, you can learn it, fine, but don't put that itself as a barrier for you to overcome anything, right? So that's something that I would really urge you. Do not get discouraged if somebody is putting you down because of your language skills, because that's always something you can pick it up. Clear? Sure. Yeah, I think that's one of the first steps that you need to take. And second to it, read. Only if you read, you will be able to understand better. Read at least 2 or 3 authors to understand a particular position of law. Like say, for example, if I'm giving you a perspective on careers in legal field, look at somebody else's lecture on careers in legal field. Look at 2 other persons speaking on the same topic. Probably you'll get a different perspective, right? So, and from each of these perspectives, you will understand something better, right? So that's something that probably you might need to do to become better in legal analogy. Next, anything else?
One more question. Sorry.
Yes.
The moment you started speaking, you being as a male lawyer, I just thought that you're a lawyer whom I want to have a drink with.
Okay.
Okay, and if you wanted to construct a phrase, same phrase for a female lawyer, what it would be?
No, I didn't follow.
Like for example, I looked at you.
Huh.
The moment you started speaking, I felt that you're the lawyer that I want to have a drink with.
Okay.
So that's the kind of impression that you just created.
Okay.
So if a female a lawyer, if suppose she is standing there, and what is the kind of impression that she should create?
Okay, so you're asking what is the kind of a perspective that a female lawyer should do?
Yes.
No, I'm not. I still don't get the question. A drink with instance, you want to ask me out on a date?
It's not that. No, I just you see
Have an
basically,
interaction.
Yeah, create
I think
an
probably
impression.
okay. So
Yeah.
you want to create an impression, or you want the lady advocate to create an impression?
Lady
What
advocate,
kind of
because
impression
see,
she has to
basically
Okay.
Being a male lawyer and a female lawyer, same kind of impression or the attributes may not work. So
I would choose to disagree. I have seen amazingly talented female lawyers as well. And one of the things that differentiates between male and female here in law is nothing. Okay, I would really stand by that statement when I say nothing, because I have seen female advocates arguing much better. See, there are senior advocates. I would not want to name them, of course, because I don't want you to have a prejudice against anyone. I have seen them literally shut the mouth of the other senior advocate by just their legal acumen and their sense of presence of mind. And I've seen it vice versa also. See, the only reason why all lawyers are given black coats and gowns is just to, hide everything, whatever is the prejudices that gets to them. So whether you're a male lawyer or a female lawyer does not make a difference. So long as you're a lawyer and you have the particular certificate of practice to practice law. Of course, there are few things probably you put yourself under prejudice, but I think times are changing. Like say, for instance, female lawyers, they just not have to handle their practice, but they also have to handle their homes. They have to go back home and cook also. I've seen that. So these are particular challenges that mostly women have, but probably if you get an understanding partner, I think it's doable, right? So that's the whole particular aspect. So you being a lawyer itself will make the groom scared that probably if he does anything, you might end up putting you under dowry harassment charges. I think hold it as a shield, don't use it as a sword. Okay.
And also this
Yes.
brings up to one more question, see, for example, a girl becoming a lawyer, and when she's ready for marriage, then will there be any complications or something?
No, I don't think so. As long as everyone's mindset is same, I think marriage is something that probably would not affect. I've married a lawyer myself, so I don't think it's going to affect anything. So far, it's not affected me, but yeah. Yes. Done? Yes.
Is it necessary to take additional course after graduation?
See, after graduation, I would definitely say that yes, probably you might have to take up an additional course, but you can decide in two ways. Okay, so you can either choose to do an additional course immediately after graduation, or you can choose to give about a year or 2 years gap to do the additional course. Probably giving it a 2 years gap is beneficial. I did it continuously, but I felt that giving a 2 years gap would have given me a better perspective because I would have known a little bit of basics on what happens in the field. Now, if you look at engineers, what they do is they finish engineering, they work for 2 years, and then they apply for MS. But most lawyers don't do that. As soon as you're done with law, you go for LLM because you want to be done with, right? So we have reverted back to the 2 year LLM scheme. I think this year graduates probably they would be in a hurry to do LLM, but I don't think you should be in a hurry in case you want to take up a master's course. Can you do an MBA after law? Can you? Yes, you can. Please note, yes, you can do MBA after law and you can switch your entire field of practice. You can get into the managerial aspect also. That's an additional thing that you can probably think of. But however, please note, in case you are enrolled yourself as an advocate, only for pursuing an LLM or a PhD in law, you can refrain from suspending your practice. But if you want to do any other course that is such as an MBA or anything, you might have to suspend your practice before taking up such additional courses. Okay, so long as it is vocational, you are allowed to. But the moment it becomes a full-time educational course, after you enroll in the law, you will have to suspend your practice.
And suspension will be revoked.
Sorry? Yeah, you can immediately after your course, you can go and reapply yourself to become a member. During that time, you should not sign any wakalat, you should not send any notice to another
Is
person.
it due to the conflict of interest or in the interest of the students?
See, law is regarded to be a noble profession. First thing, you need to give your devote time and practice to it. Now, what happens if you don't suspend your practice is, although you're doing something else for your own monetary gain, you are actually disentitling the lawyers who are actually putting their sheer hard work and everything to get to a particular stage. You will be equally on practice for the number of years for your judgeship and others, just as other person who has actually put in the number of years of effort. So because we have that, I think we have suspension of practice is also one of the vital things, and I completely stand by. I did not enroll when I was doing my LLM. Back in those days when I was studying LLM, it was necessary for you to suspend practice even if you're doing an LLM. It's only in the recent years that it came. A lot of my classmates had already enrolled. I did not enroll. Okay, I enrolled in 2018. I graduated in 15. Okay, I graduated in 15. I enrolled in 2018 because I was pursuing my CS articleship for about 2 years. That's the reason I did not enroll. I could have enrolled myself. Okay, but that would have been a fraud on the entire thing that you're playing on the machinery that's already created. Yeah.
Is it legal or it's just a fair practice?
Sorry,
Is it legal or
it is illegal, but sometimes you get away with it because as long as I don't disclose it to anyone, nobody knows it, right?
Yes.
No one will know it, but somewhere down the line, somewhere in the future, somebody digs it out. It's a huge public embarrassment, no? Yeah. So it happened with the person, army major. So his birth certificate, he had
Yes.
fabricated his birth certificate when he joined the army. But look at the amount of national embarrassment he faced, at the time of his retirement. I don't want that. Yeah. So I would say that please follow the laws. If as lawyers you don't follow the law, who else will, right? Yeah. Any other questions? Last question, probably. None? Okay. Thank you for being a patient audience. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was a very interesting talk and covering so many dimensions, sharing your experience and emphasizing on the much needed skills and language. I request Dr. Manoj Kumar, sir, to present this as a token of appreciation to Rohit Kamat, sir.
Privilege receiving from my teacher.
Good afternoon, all. Mr. Rohit has addressed regarding various career opportunities and the kind of a preparation you are supposed to make to get into the legal profession or other avenues that are available after you graduate after you become a law graduate. So, Mr. Rohit is a proud alumnus of this institution and keeps visiting here to interact with our students, maybe with respect to even moot court competitions or about career guidance. And he gives internship to our students. Few of our students are doing internship under him. So I appeal all of you, all the students, prospective students and parents. So once you join the institution, keep the things that Mr. Rohit has discussed with you now and keep interacting with our alumni who are visits our institution. And our alumni are a great support to us. They keep visiting us and even provide internship and even the job opportunities once our students are graduating. So as Rohit was telling, don't decide right now what you want to be. Take 1 or 2 years, start studying law. Maybe by the time you come to third year, you may start planning as to what you want to become. As Rohit only told, he has multiple qualifications. He can fit into any uh, job now. He can be a lawyer, he can be a teacher, he can be a corporate secretary, he can be a researcher, and he's pursuing his PhD also. So keep open your options, and uh, it is said a lawyer needs to be jack of all. So you should be knowing the little bit about every subject. And he gave a very good example of great lawyers of India like Nanipal Kevala and Ramjit Malani. So those inspiring stories, those biographies, you must read now when you have time, maybe for another 1.5 months. Our admission committee will share a list of books and the movies which you can watch during this 1.5 month and come here so that you will have some uh, information or some knowledge about the great luminaries in the legal field and some flair about law study. So with this, I conclude my talk. Thank you for making it and attending this event. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.